you grew up on this land. How
I
many?
did.
How many acres are out here in North Springfield?
Just about 16 acres here.
Okay. And so, at what point did the family say, well, we might have an opportunity to do something more than just live on the land?
I was 10 years old, so it was 1996. It's our 20th year now, and it was my mother's idea. She had been working in the bridal industry, selling rings and dresses and things like that, and met so many brides who, at the time, there weren't very many or, any lovely outdoor venues in the area. Eureka Springs, who wants to drive 2 hours? And so she thought, oh, we've got this family property here. We had just moved here 2 years prior after my great-grandparents left it to my dad, and we came here from California. So she thought, this is a beautiful spot. Let's make this a beautiful wedding venue and share it with people.
What did that take then? We go from an idea to formulating, a business around it, and then the land. Did you have to make changes to the?
At the time, we didn't. Really, I mean, as far as changes, we really just kind of kept it as is. Now, since then, I took the business over in 2009. Since then, we've done quite a bit of work and changes. But back then, there wasn't as much competition, and it was really just a naturally beautiful spot. So, we would bring in tables and chairs, of course, and we had somebody do cakes for us, and it really started as a very small operation, and that worked well, and she was successful with it. And of course, she had my brother and I and my dad to help out, so it was a very family-run business, and still is. But since then, things have changed in 20 years in the wedding industry, quite a lot. So we're constantly improving, building something here, changing that. So that's something that's relatively new within the last 7 years or so.
You grew up in the business then, and had always been around to help, I guess, when you had hosted events and that?
When I was young, I was pouring punch and, picking up trash and all that fun stuff. So yeah.
Well, you have a great perspective, I'm sure, then on how to run an event and what the needs are for your clients. What have you seen? You mentioned some changes. What have you seen change? Some of the biggest things that you've taken since you've been running it?
One of the biggest changes is with all digital media and everything these days, Pinterest and ideas being shared everywhere, all over the internet. So gone are the cookie cutter wedding days. It used to be 20 years ago, weddings were pretty similar. And when you go to a wedding, you know what to expect. You're going to have, pink punch and cake. And, we used to actually use the same tablecloths, and we had benches that were custom made. Every wedding was pretty similar. And anymore, I never know what I'm going to get. And that's one of the most exciting things for me, is when I meet a couple, learning about their creative ideas and how, they can actually put themselves into the wedding and not feel strange about it. I think back then it was just expected that this is how a wedding is, and anymore, you never know what you're going to get. It's a lot of fun.
How about the cost of weddings? How have you seen that change throughout the years? What's an average cost that you're seeing a bride and groom or their parents pay?
It definitely varies from family to family, and we're in a good area. Weddings, as a whole in the nation, they're very cost effective here in the Ozarks, even compared to St. Louis and Kansas City. Of course, I get brides I've had brides from Chicago. I recently had a bride and groom. I've had a couple from Alaska recently, and California this year as well. So and a lot of times they don't even have family here. Sometimes it's just that this is a great kind of destination for them, because the Ozarks are beautiful. We've got a beautiful spot, and it's more affordable here. But I can help somebody with a wedding. It really comes down to how many people are you going to have, because with weddings, you're paying cost per head in the end. So we can do it for as little as $800, or it can be, on my end, closer to $7,000. And I see some people with a budget of, maybe, I guess, I've had couples with their budgets $1,000 total for everything.
No kidding.
Yeah. doesn't always work
just
out
the
that great,
immediate family, probably, yeah.
it doesn't always work out that well, but I've seen it and I've helped those couples before,
Yeah.
and then I've seen some with, a $30,000 budget.
Yeah.
So it really is kind of a big range,